What's up, everybody? It's the Bipolar Prophet, and welcome back to Old Ridge Farm and Farming Simulator 15. So, you can see we're down here at the dairy with my big case hooked up to the front windrower and the baler. We're going to go bale that field, the pig and beef meadow that we cut before. I went back and tedded it all up and everything. I was going to rake it, and then I realized, well, wait a minute. I have this front windrower. I might as well use that. This is what I use for hay now. It's easier. It's a one-pass system, you know. Go down, get out up and down the field, you know, make a row, bale it up, spit the bale out, done. I have to use the big tractor for this because the red case, the Puma will handle it, but the Claas will not. And that's fine. I don't really have anything else going on at the moment anyway. It's still the same day. So I went around and sprayed herbicide on everything. Did I do anything else off screen? No, I think that's about it. So anyway, let's go ahead and hop in the tractor, get it fired up, and get down to the pig and beef meadow, and we'll talk a little bit about what's been going on here in Old Ridge since, well, I mean, in the last, 2 hours since you were here last? You know, obviously it's still the same day, so, you know, it's funny, I was giving some thought to, you know, what's going on with the farm and what's going on with the finances and everything. As you can see, we're down to $34,141, which, to be honest, is not awful for me, you know. I've certainly had less money at this time of the year before. You know, the milk prices are just, you know, they're so bad. It's funny. I'd gone back to the house to grab a cup of coffee and, you know, get a little snack, as I like to do about this time every day. And I had turned the TV on, and I was watching a thing on the news about how a bunch of farmers had gone down to London, sort of on a march. You know, oops, listen. You know, the brakes in this thing aren't great, right? Jeez. So yeah, they had gone down on a march/celebration, you know, of British farming and everything. And, you know, they were talking about how the prices on things are so bad that, you know, unless you have a really big farm, you know, you really can't afford to survive. You can't afford to be a farmer anymore, you know, in Britain. You know, unless, you know, the government gets involved and does something about the prices, you know, and specifically for me, the thing that really sort of stood out for me was the milk prices, right? The milk prices have gotten slightly better in the last couple of months, but still nowhere near what they need to be, you know. And again, it's a case of our own success, right? You know, the British farmers' own success. You know, at one time milk prices were very high, so British farmers were really investing in dairies and investing in equipment, investing in their herds, you know, increasing herd size and everything else, you know. And then milk prices just fell. I mean, just, you know, completely fell through the bottom. And now all of a sudden, you know, everybody has, you know, not everybody, but, you know, a lot of people have good size herds. They have expensive equipment that has to be paid for and everything, you know, and the milk prices just don't sustain any of that. So they were all down there, and it was, you know, it was fun to watch on the TV. You know, like I said, it wasn't really a march so much as it was a celebration. You know, everybody was pretty good natured. There wasn't any arguing or screaming or anything like that. You know, it was a good, well run, you know, disciplined, you know, protest and celebration of British farming, and I fully support that. I think that's great. And, you know, if I had time, I would have definitely gone. But, you know, unfortunately, this farm takes up all my time, so I don't have time to really do any extra stuff like that, you know. So, had to talk with Mike as well this morning about his council run, you know. As you guys are probably aware, he's going to run for district council, so he's actually, looks like he may be able to just take over the position from the person who's leaving. There was a councilwoman whose husband got sick, and she wants to spend more time with him, obviously. So she's going to leave the council. So he may actually, if nobody else stands against him, he may be able to just take that position, and then there'll be an election to make it official. I think that's how it works. And of course, he has my full support. Now, I can't vote because I'm not a British citizen, you know. I'm just a resident as a property owner. But he still has my full support, so. Okay, now, let's see. Get this thing unfolded. I really, really like this thing. This is one of those things that Chad sort of talked me into, you know. He was like, you do a lot of baling over there, you know, in your place, and you should really think about getting one of these, you know. It'll cut down your workload. You won't have to make so many passes. You won't have to use so much diesel and everything else. And he's really right. I mean, this is really a great piece of equipment, so. Oh, yeah, it would have helped if I folded it first, huh? I forget how to turn this on. Is it B? It is B. Now, one thing with this thing is it doesn't like to take sharp turns, and you kind of have to go kind of slow. But it still works really well. So, and it makes this all a one-step operation. Excuse me. You have to forgive me if I'm a little quiet today. You may have heard this in the Norge home video I made yesterday. I'm having a tooth issue. My tooth, I got a back tooth that's been acting up for quite a while. And I don't have money to go to the dentist. You know, in America, everything costs money. So to go to the dentist costs more money than I could possibly afford right now. So I'm kind of having to live with it, you know, and I'm using a lot of clove oil and, you know, Tylenol and things like that. So, and it really hurts when I talk, but I want to make videos. So, you know, that's not really going to stop me. But if I get quiet once in a while, I apologize. I had about 3/4 of a bale in there already, which is good, you know. Again, these meadows are not fully up to, you know, 100% production yet, but they're getting there, so. Oh, no. Got to remember to be on this one to kick out the bale. I could go faster than this, but to be honest, it's a little easier for me to go slow like this, just because of the fact that I'm less likely to miss stuff. The work width on this is a little wider than the pickup on the baler, so it kind of kicks the stuff off to the side a little bit, so I have to make sure the baler's actually picking it up. And again, it doesn't like to make really sharp turns, so as you would expect, you know, with the way it's set up here. So now we'll just switch to the front, lift that up, and turn around. It's a little awkward, you know, the first couple of rows because you're going to miss stuff, you know, because you don't want to drop this on a sharp turn because, like I said, it'll just the baler won't pick it up. So basically, what I do is I come in, I make a turn, I leave a little bit of a headland, and then I go back and I go back around again after I'm done to pick up all the stuff that I missed. Good to be baling already, you know. Like I said, it's been warm here, so you know, the grass grew pretty well. You know, I want to be able to get these meadows slurried and stuff, so wanted to get this grass up. Plus, I need the hay anyway. Gonna have to rotate my bales, move the old bales out to the front before I load these in to the shed. I can actually go a little bit faster than this. This may be a little slow, maybe 7. Once you kind of get established, it's not so bad. No need this has to take, you know, a day and a half to do. This is a good sized meadow, as you guys are aware, but it still doesn't need to take, you know, 2 days to get done. All right, now I want to lift this before I get to this thing. Oof. Just almost caught the edge of that road. Those little wheels are, you know, they're good, but they're not exactly made for off-roading. Took me a little while to get used to using this thing. When I first started to use it, I was definitely, you know, trying to be slick and trying to make sharp corners with it and everything. You know, and Chad had told me, he said, listen, this thing's really meant to go, you know, up and down in a straight line. You don't want to, you know, make sharp corners with it and everything. But of course, you know me, oh, well, let's, you know, I'm going to try it anyway. And it didn't really work out. So once I figured out, you know, the right method of using it, like I said, it saves time. You know, I come down here, I can mow the field, I can ted it, and then come down with this operation and row it and bale it at the same time. Very, very handy. And it was only $6,000, you know, which for an implement is not outrageous. What I'm hoping is to get this all baled up and then come down here with the load all in the trailer and pick them up in this episode. That's what I'm hoping to do. We'll see. We'll see how my tooth holds out, because I can tell you it is really, really hurting today. I mean, it's so hard to talk when it hurts like this, you know. But again, okay, you know, it is what it is, you know. I'm not a great one for letting my body tell me what to do, you know what I mean? I tend to I tend to ignore it a lot, which is probably why I'm as unhealthy as I am. Because if I, just listen to it once in a while, it would be better. But oh no, because I know I woke up this morning and I was like, oh, it was so sore, So of course, the first thing I do is go for the clove oil. Clove oil is the greatest thing ever, for topical pain relief, I think. Put a big cotton swab of that back in there on the tooth. Take a couple Tylenol, get my morning stuff done, and then sit down and say, well, I'm making a video regardless of how my tooth feels. So if I'm not as chatty in this video as I normally am, I apologize, guys. I mean, you can see already the yield is not awesome, but again, this will be the first full year of us back on these meadows now. So I keep forgetting to swap the implements. So I'll have the year to get it back in position. Also, you guys probably know this if you've watched Mike's videos, that Justin was sort of co-opted, or asked to volunteer to sit on his parish council, because there was just not enough people to do it. And so he was doing some research about the grass situation. Obviously he's a farmer. Obviously he's a big organic beef farmer. So grass is certainly important to him. Oh, I'm gonna have to run this up over this road. It doesn't really like that, but okay. So he was doing some research, and apparently, back in the 1800s, apparently there was one. There's a landowner that owned a great deal of this land, and he left it all to the district, and with the sort of caveat that it was only to be used for agricultural purposes, which means it couldn't, you couldn't build houses on it, you couldn't build factories on it. You could only use it for agricultural purposes, which means you could, use it as fields, you could use the meadows for grass and things like that. And it was supposed to be in perpetuity, forever. So the council actually illegally took away our rights, and by the council I mean the Crawford Browns, because we all know it was the Crawford Browns who got that whole thing started because they were mad at Mike. So they decided to punish us all for it. And of course, we all support Mike. We all stood behind him and everything, and we all made the adjustments we had to make. But that was an illegal decision. That was an illegal order by them. So now that we've got the rights to use the meadows again, I think now that they know we're aware of it, they're going to have to, change their order once again to make sure that, these meadows stay in our control forever. I think, and again, okay, that'll be great. Because I was seriously thinking, what am I going to do if they come around and say, well, okay, in, 8 months, you're not going to be able to use these meadows again. I don't really want to have to buy fields just to turn into meadows. I really don't. It's, yes, if I had to do it, would I do it? Certainly. But I didn't want to because, again, with the milk prices being what they are, really, if I'm growing grass to feed my cows, I'm basically just growing grass for free. So I'm glad I won't have to do that now. I'm glad I'll be able to put if I do buy another field, be able to use it as an arable field and hopefully make some money. Having a talk with Nick, my seed rep, about, trends and about, what's selling where and, where's the best contract prices and, and all this other stuff. And to be honest, OSR is really the thing now. A lot of OSR gets grown in this area. And because you can't really do any GMO stuff. Now, I am growing soybeans, which is a GMO product, but I'm growing it for seed, so it's okay. I'm not growing it for consumption. I'm not growing it for, production so much. So I can sell it as seeds. That's my contract with Soya UK to sell it for seeds. But OSR is a pretty, it brings in a lot of money, and it mostly gets exported, I'm sorry. So, to countries like China, to countries like America, places like that. So I'm wondering, if instead of maybe barley, which is the traditional crop around here, if I don't start planting more OSR. The only thing about OSR is it's expensive to grow. But if the prices stay up, and Nick is pretty confident that they're going to, there may not be any reason not to plant more my tongue. Every time my tongue hits my tooth, it just sends a shock through my whole face. There may not be any real reason not to grow more OSR. So that's something we're going to be looking at for next year. Sunflower is another thing, sunflowers being another oil producing crop, that can get exported. So maybe sunflowers will be something that I really get heavily into if I get a good crop on my test plot this year. Well, whoa. You want to stop? All my tractors need brakes. Every single tractor needs brakes. Oh. And this one doesn't even have that many miles on it. Or that many hours on it. I didn't really need to lower that again because it's already rode, but that's okay. Just so I don't forget when I get back to the stuff that hasn't been rode yet. Even though this may be a slightly slower process than coming in with a rake and then, coming in with a baler, it's all done at the same time. So when you factor in that, it's certainly quicker. I don't rake my straw anyway, so I don't have to worry about that. But this is great for hay. I absolutely love it. I'm so glad that Chad is a great salesman, and he didn't have to work too hard. He showed me some video and stuff, and kind of I was like, yeah, you know what, that's kind of neat. I kind of like that. So I don't drive into this tree. Oop, easy. That's how you break PTOs. It's going to be a bit of an awkward turn because I still have the baler down, so it is picking up some, but it'll take not sharp bends. It'll go around a corner fairly well, but not too sharp, because what ends up happening is it spits the windrow out too far off to the side, and the baler can't pick it up. So me and Perry and Phil were having to talk about the Kloss, about whether or not if it's a good idea to maybe get rid of that. I think I'm going to keep it for the rest of this season. And then, have a good hard look at whether or not we're going to get rid of it and get something maybe a little bigger. It's a good tractor. There's nothing wrong with it. But the problem is that it's kind of underpowered for its weight. So it revs really high. It runs at really high RPM, you know what I mean? And it uses a lot of fuel that way. So it's not very fuel efficient. Like these things, the two cases are great. They're very fuel efficient. They make plenty of power. And of course Chad's like, oh, you know what? I've got a case just for you. So I don't know if I want to be an exclusive case farmer. To be honest, I'm not really all that brand loyal. I bought these tractors because the money was right. The power was right. The features were right. They were going to do what I needed them to do. And that's why I bought the Kloss. Now the Kloss was used, obviously. It had quite a few hours on it when I bought it and all that. But and I may be looking at another used one. If Chad can find me something that's decent. Chad never has an issue finding tractors, you know what I mean? He's got a network of people all across the country, and out of the country too, to be able to say, hey, I found this for you, I found that for you, the Transitor, you know what I mean? Who I didn't even know that thing existed, and I get a phone call from him saying, hey, this thing's kind of cool, you should come check this out, this may be good for your operation. Turns out it wasn't, but so I don't think he's going to have any issue finding me another tractor if I decide that's the way I want to go. Just taking a look at my cows over there, see how they're doing. Yeah, they're doing okay. Oh, they're doing all right. Are they out of? No, they're not out of it. Okay. I thought they were out of straw, but they're not. No. Chickens are getting a little low on wheat. The sheep are doing okay. Speaking of the sheep, so I've sort of come to a decision about the sheep. I think if I can find somebody who's willing to buy the sheep, I may sell them. I just don't, to be honest, I don't know. I don't think they're going to bring in the money that they need to bring in, you know what I mean? I'm not quite as attached to the sheep as I am to the dairy cows. So I think the sheep are going to have to go probably sooner than later, I would imagine, would be ideal. I think what I'll do here is, I think I'll let it kind of follow this curve here. Oh, that's not an ideal place to leave a bale, though, is it? Well, whatever. I'll complain about that later when it's dead in the way. Ultimately, that's kind of how this thing is designed to be used. You really want to go sort of alternately up and down the field like this. But I find it works just as well the other way, too. Just this is a little neater, leaves less stuff on the headlands to clean up later. We're going to get a few bales off this field, so that's good. You know, we always do. This is obviously the biggest meadow that I, have access to, so. Oh, Shawnee's Meadows. Shawnee's Meadows may be a little bigger than this, but they're a little awkward to work because of the slope and everything, but. Yeah, I think what I want to do here is I think I want to finish baling this, and then I'll grab the load-all and the trailer and bring it up here, and at least load the bales, and we can unload them in the next episode. But it's really important that I get these meadows up to, maximum production. You can see they have no, the soil moisture is good, but no N in them whatsoever. And they had N in them last year, but of course, the grass didn't have any for so long that it just used it all. So there's no reservoir of N, as it were, in these meadows. So we got to get them back up to where they're supposed to be. I also have all the other meadows to cut. I'm going to cut one a day, I think. So we'll probably cut the one across from here tomorrow, and then come back and cut my meadows, on the next couple of days. Oh, this tooth, I just want to smash my face with a hammer. I'm sure you guys know if you've ever had a toothache. I swear it's the worst pain in the world, and I seem to have them more than most people, and I try to take care of my teeth too, but, unfortunately, my family, genetics and things, my family didn't have the best teeth in the world, so, in fact, my mom had dentures, false teeth, since she was 16, so I was lucky. I'm lucky in the sense that, I'm almost 48 years old. I still have, a few of my own teeth left, so. I'm not quite a jack-o'-lantern yet, but I'm getting there. I can't even say that word because my tongue keeps hitting my tooth, and I swear I feel like I'm going to pass out every time it does. It's a good relaxing job to do when you're in pain, though. One of my favorite jobs to do. Anything baling, anything to do with grass, with balers, with rakes, with any of that stuff. It really my favorite jobs. Now I'm going to cheat a little bit more here, and it's not going to pick this up because it's going to be too tight of a turn, but it will make it a little easier for me to come down this row. There we go. And I'll obviously clean up the headlands, Yeah, see that. The rain we got really helped. The PK is good, but grass doesn't really care so much about PK. With grass, it's really about nitrogen. So, and not having any nitrogen in here really hurts the yield. We'll fix that. I will come down here and slurry these meadows. Probably the next episode we'll do that. Still got wheat to plant, so that's going to happen tomorrow. Keep it in my staggered planting, so. Oops, stop. Sure, 62 hours on this case. Wow. That's quite a bit when you think about it, right? Obviously all my tractors get used. I don't have any tractors that just sit around and do nothing. Can't afford that, so. I was really giving some thought. Do I need 3 tractors? the size of my operation is not so giant that, do I need 3 tractors? Can I sell one maybe? Save on some maintenance, save on some, some wear and tear, save on some diesel and things. But then I got thinking about it. I'm like, well, I think I need, I think 3 is the absolute minimum. I don't think I can get away with any less than 3, because Perry and Phil, they can be doing something, and then I can be doing something. So, and I don't want to let one of those guys go. They've been with me for a while now. They're both really good workers. They don't complain. They do their jobs. And I don't want to go to them and say, well, sorry, I can't afford to pay you, so you got to go. They kind of depend on me, right? So, and their families depend on me and all that. So I don't want to let anybody go. So until I absolutely cannot afford it, I just hope we have a good yield this year. I hope we have a good harvest. I'm going to work really hard to make sure we do. And hopefully we can just keep, rolling on here. And if it gets to the point where I can't afford to do it anymore, well, I don't know, then it might be time to start putting up the for sale signs. But for right now, I'm going to keep fighting, keep clawing, keep, hanging on by my fingernails until I absolutely cannot do it anymore. I love being a farmer. I love farming. I love this area. I've made good lifelong friends here. I don't want to leave, so. Get to the end of the row before you fill up. Whoops. Nope, not going to do it, huh? I really should lift this thing so I don't make a weird windrow. Okay. And yeah, I probably should be lifting the baler when I lift the windrower, but too many buttons. Too many buttons. Even though I have a map to the wheel and I have a map to the console and the shifter, but I never remember to use it. I think this is going to be a little too wide to get all in one pass. Yeah, it is. 27 minutes. Do I pick up these bales or do we do that in the next episode? I don't know. I'm trying to decide. My tooth is hurting so bad. It hurts so bad to talk. I don't want to use that as an excuse, but because the clove oil and the clove oil and the Tylenol will work if I let it. But unfortunately, every time I talk, I'm just inflaming the area around that tooth, so it's not really giving it a chance to work, So what I may do is this. I think I'm going to have to call Uncle on this pain. I think I will finish up this field. We'll clean it up, And then in the next episode, we'll pick up the bales. We'll slurry this meadow. We'll go cut the other, one of the other meadows, probably the meadow across from here, on the other side of the pig facility. Get that tedded up, and we'll see how long that all takes. It shouldn't take too long. That's a pretty small meadow. So if we cut it, ted it, we should be able to come down and bale it all in the same episode. And then I'll get Perry and Phil planting. So getting the wheat in the ground. And then that'll just leave the sunflowers, which are going to go in last anyway. It's just going to be a test plot anyway. So, see how they grow, see how they do. See what kind of production I get out of them. See what kind of population I can get. And see how it all works out. All right, this is going to be a little tricky because, like a doofus, I left bales right in the way of where I need to go. Go figure. So, what I think, and of course, because going that way, it's not going to pick it up. So, I'm going to have to do a little bit of fiddling about here. I feel like I'm forgetting something. I feel like I wanted to talk about something and I'm forgetting, but I'm just, it's one of those days where my brain is like, listen, can we just, douse this nerve in clove oil and go, lay down? Which, of course, we can't. I got too much stuff to do, but And I swear my brain's still sore from Norsholm yesterday, in the real world, Norsholm. I love that. That map's awesome, and it's going to be great once everything's running. But, man, I'm just pulling my hair out trying to figure out how to make money on it. It's just killing me. This map, again, okay, well, it is what it is, right? I have what I have to make money on it, so it's not so bad. But that map is like, but it's fun, though, so that's all that matters. All that matters. It's a game, right? It's Farm Sim, so... This is probably not the most ideal way to do this, certainly, but... Because all I'm doing is just driving over this meadow, right? And with 91% moisture, the meadow's pretty wet. So I'm probably just tearing up the corners of this meadow pretty good. Someday that's going to be a thing, right? Someday we're going to have that in the game where that's going to matter, where we're having... I want to lift that. We're driving over a meadow, driving over a field, driving over anything. When it's wet, is going to cause mud. It's going to tear it up. Backing this baler up. So short. That's not good for it. That's not good for it. That's why you get 90-degree PTO adapters, right? All right. I'm not really going to spend 3 hours trying to get every last bit of this, though. I'm just wasting diesel that I can't really afford, and I'm liable to break something with these turns that I'm making. I get one more bale, hopefully. One more bale would be nice. Run down here and get this bit. See if we get one more bale, and then we'll take a look at these bales, see how they're shaping up here. I suppose I could mow a little closer to that edge, huh? It's just because of the trees, It's just easier to stay on that line, about one mower's width off the trees. So then to try to weave in and out of the trees, it just doesn't make any sense to me. I should turn the baler off while I come down here. That beeping, right? Oh, well. Oh, come on. Give me one more bale. I don't think I'm going to get one more bale unless I get every little bit, and I'm just not going to do that. So, because that would just be silly. Okay, that's fine. Plenty of baling to do yet anyway, so not really worried about that. And you can go off too, get folded up. We will fold up this so we can go down the road with it. Very good. And we will turn that off. Make sure we set the brake. Actually, that wants to be the screenshot, I think, right? Oh, got to turn off field status. Turn that off. Alt-H, Alt-I. She's got so much stuff on the screen, right? You got to turn it all off at the same time. So, yep, that works. And there you go. Okay. Now, let's have a look at one of these bales. Let's see. Oh, yeah, okay. Not bad. 13%. It is what it is. Obviously, the amount's 4,000 at the moment. Should stay that way. I think we cut it. I think we got probably the best grass we could get off this meadow at the moment. So, okay. I'll take it. Yeah, it's not bad. Okay, very good. And obviously, I'll come down here and slurry this and everything. So there you go, guys. Hopefully, you guys enjoyed that. And I know it wasn't the most chatty episode ever, but my tooth and everything. So in the next episode, we will be slurrying this meadow. We'll be cutting the meadow across from the the pig facility over there. And Perry and Phil will be planting wheat, I think. And then at some point, I'll get the sunflowers in the ground. sort of that'll be the last thing that goes in the ground, and then there'll be spraying and everything to be doing, obviously. So as always, guys, make sure you let me know what you think. Please leave your comments. Make sure you click the like button if you like the video. If you're not subscribed, please click the subscribe button. It's the best way of being notified of when I make a video, which is pretty much every single day. As always, thank you so much for coming to the channel, for liking, for commenting, for subscribing, for being my friends. This is why I do it. The fact that you guys enjoy it makes me enjoy it even more, makes me want to do it, and thank you so much for that. And thank you for making me a part of your YouTube day. And this is the Bipolar Prophet saying, see you later.